1. And oh my gosh, we are back. Wait, I accidentally got clipped off. Oh no. Oh no, behind the screen. I got Mike Wazowski'd. Live editing. Let me just do this right quick. There we go. Alright, and welcome to, I believe it's the 8th episode of the Bloodstone Saga? I haven't checked it some time, so that's why I'm wondering a little bit. Wow, we made it 8 episodes, and all it took was a 3-week break. Just turning everybody up a little bit while I have my volume down. And yeah. So, last time was a bit of a ways away, but it was the conclusion to the mountain arc. If I remember correctly, the party had just survived the Winter Wolf attack and managed to come across this young stone giant child who had revealed that the Oxum had gotten their filthy hands on most of the giant populace through apparently some very mysterious magical dealings. But, you know, that was something that they figured a little bit already, and so they prepared to go into a nice little sleep as they prepared to finish off. However, they were interrupted as it seemed that the demon known as Hemo definitely wanted whatever evil was possessing the fox on Magnolia's backpack. And a tussle actually ensued. However, it was eventually sort of revealed that perhaps Hemo wasn't who he said he was, and furthermore, the fox was exorcised. Of course, this didn't really dampen the relationship between Calice and Magnolia, and so the last leg of the journey was a dangerous cross against a great frozen lake, which was some clever thinking. They managed to evade the Winter Wolves, the Stone Giants, and even the Frost Giant that was attacking them. And now they're into the next leg of their journey in what I would argue is sort of a new season, into the Fey Wode, or the Forgotten Wode, if I remember correctly. Certainly better than Magical Wode, that's for sure. And I'll say for the party, it's an entirely different feel than it was the last time we crossed you. When you were entering the forest, it was still snowy, it was very cold. And though it is still sort of cold, it's like in the mid-50s, the only real weather there is some rain, and it's very light. I mean, from what you've consulted on your maps, this might be a quick expedition. It's supposed to be only 1 or 2 days within this forest. And yet you feel like you've traveled all day and you're not making any progress. How do we greet the party? What have you been doing as you've been maybe you've expected the Frost Giant to come and follow, but it seems that even he fears what lies within this forest. Reference, I would say that of the forest, you are, let me just get to where in the map you are. Why did I make such a big map if I don't use so much of it? You are approximately here. Precisely where you are. Apparently you were to you will travel until you hit this stone road, one of the classic ones of the Barony of Bloodstone. But you've been traveling north, and you know it's north, and yet you haven't found anything. Yes. Besides that stone road, I'd say the only three people you'd have for information would be, you know, the two halflings and Kirsty. Of course, all the halflings really have to say is something about its past. There was a halfling village nearby. Yes, it was actually quite nice. It was me and my cousin's birthplace, and you know, it used to have good tidings with the what with the Bloodstone Baron and all that, until it got burnt down. To make a long story short, I believe that it was during that first part where everything went to shit. Back when everything went mercenary, probably tried to do the same thing as they did to that Bellows Bog place. Got it burnt down. And we said no because, well, we halflings are free to share, but we're not free to subjugate. Kirsty sort of looks down and goes, actually no, it's Kilmatary sort of looks down and goes, but you're working for the king. Yes, because he pays us. Or the Baron. Wait, why is it Baron? Why isn't it a king? All the dwarves are kings considered during positions, or Elder X or Elder Y. Well, would they own smaller bits of land, I suppose? Apart from that, the only thing you've really been noticing is that the trees have been getting a little taller. Interesting. I'd say in that case, as you're just going along, you can make me a Arcana or Perception check. Apparently you do. 12, you say? I see. It is quite interesting. I'll say that with that, you kind of see at the same time that your familiar does as, I believe I called him Jasper? Yeah, Jasper. Jasper sort of gives a bit of a dramatic, hey, you might need to see this, but of course by the time that he's saying it, you're seeing it too. That most of you are. You come to a slight clearing of the forest boughs and can actually see the area around you, and that's when you notice the trees before you are starting to grow bigger, about as big as redwoods. And you are in an enormous valley of sorts. A valley certainly too big to be traveled across by one day. And yet, from what the map says, it's supposed to only be that short. What happened? Is this some sort of strange wizardry, or Kirsty's actually got a bit of a nervous look on her face. Yeah, that looks like fey magic. That's not great. You said that the halflings lived here. That couldn't have been fey here. Maybe they moved in? Okay. It's fine. I got some vague training on this back when I was a kid. If you're going into some fey territory or things, Okay, there's 3 things. Yes, 3. First, don't give your real name. That much is obvious. Second off, if you have any iron, carry it. I think we got a frying pan around here. And, finally, and, slightly, maybe super important, hard to tell, it's probably as important as the name thing. Yeah, that's what, Quillen said. Don't cross the same bridge 3 times. I'll say that Garvey sort of goes, oh, well, that should be easy, considering we're just going straight. We won't come across the same bridge. We could also be walking in circles. Oddly, you can actually make me a history check, Angriff. That's totally not ominous or anything. I'll say that it is as you are traveling through, and let me just get, let me reveal a background to you all. As you begin to travel down from that large clearing through the crack of the mountains, and you begin to move down to a place with trees of tremendous size and the sound of different flora and fauna, although it seems quite tranquil. You have the honest feeling, Angriff, that you've been here before. Let me just slap everybody here. As you find yourselves traveling through unseasonably warmer weather through the light rain, with the green bramble patches and sometimes the hint of perhaps some flowers. Is it just you, or is it spring? Remarkably spring-like for this time of year. Nonetheless, you do have some information, Angriff, and I do find this fitting. You are eventually going to travel upon the best path through this area back when the halflings were here. Although, strangely, you remember that before there were halflings, there were fae. Why do you remember that? There is one large river that snakes down from the mountains and sort of switchbacks constantly. You could try and follow it, but the faster route is to just cross through its many bends, like a straight shot. Perhaps not. So you should be in the clear, right? Right? Inspect it very carefully. And before the next strange stuff begins to happen, do you want to talk to any of your fellow travelers, like, say, the twins, the dwarf, the barkeep, or your new wolfen friend who is someone carrying him, or is he just... I'd say he's at least starting to get a little better. He's lost one of the levels of exhaustion. So when he does walk, it's slower, but, you know. And then, of course, the giant child who's just sort of... I'll say that she actually looks a little high and sort of reaches up to one of the large places to try and pick a couple of flowers. You know the most of all, strangely enough, although I'll say that Kirsty, who is guiding everyone. Indeed. I remember that Quillen talked about it a little bit. He's my father's dad's, the Baron's advisor. The Baron isn't. Never mind. I remember, you know, when I was a kid, everybody would go to him and call him weird, but he actually taught me a little bit about this forest and how the five once traveled through here. Of course, he also taught me a little bit of Druidic, but I don't think that's the main language they're going to be talking here. Yes, I think that's probably closer. The only problem is I don't speak it well. Oh, that's just deadpan. Oh yeah, because wait. Aren't you? You know, I don't want to assume that every, you know, dead guy is Oxum, but and I'm guessing that has to do with something here? I see. Questions for later. I'm glad you do, and you're not gonna, you know, do the evil undead heal turn thing, if such a thing exists. What about the other two? What are you doing? Associates meaning your partners or your head buddy? You could make me a history check, like, or, you know, minor religion, perhaps. 22. You've heard a little bit about this, but more particularly, you've heard about it in the grand history of this area. After all, you know, you had to take your history classes as part of your royal etiquette training as a high society noblewoman. Back before the Oxum Empire really dove deep into undeath, they were an elven empire, such as it was. mostly led by the Eldar, interestingly enough. Of course, their area sort of reached deep down beyond the valley which Bloodstone was in, the Gulch, and made it into this forest, although I will say that perhaps the mountains they weren't able to surpass. As for ones that you've worked with, you know, considering how weird he is... One second, let me actually look up his name, because I forgot his name. Zarek. He's weird enough he could be a fae, yes, but you think he's human. He bleeds like a human. Hard to tell. The weird jester dude who's cursed to rhyme, yes. You know, sounds like some fae shenaniganry. Perhaps. And you know what? We could do it as a bit of a follow-up your action, my dearest Magnolia. The bird, Jasper, does sort of fly down to your side. She says, so, yeah, this is weird. I mean, you know, my mama told me never to really go down south into these places, especially after the halfling thing. I don't know, do you think they're going to be enemies? They're going to take us away? I mean, maybe they got company with the Oxum. Oh god, what if they're with the Oxum? Oh boy, oh jeez, oh man. And I'll say, fitting enough to that terminology, you hear something in the distance. It's sort of faint on the ear. You can't see anything, especially considering how much this place rustles and blows with the wind. But is that singing? It's not like, you know, gentle singing, like what you would expect from the elves. No, it's operatic. Something along the lines of la 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 la, just very boisterous and almost sort of joyful, but in enough of a way that it sort of is a bit strange, especially here. And Engrove, I'm gonna have you roll a wisdom save with disadvantage. You know what I'll say? This is going to be quite strange, because I didn't expect you to roll that high. It's as you sort of, well, it isn't as gentle of a shift as you would have believed. And everybody else can make me a perception check, I'll say. Alright. Okay. It's okay. Perception check. Perception check. 24. It's you sort of gently. You recognize that voice. You don't know where. You don't know when, but you recognize that singing. You recognize the man who sang that way. And as you look in the direction of where it is, it's almost like a dolly zoom from Jaws or Lord of the Rings, where everything sort of moves into place a bit more. And you at least recognize what is happening to you. Angrif, your legs are walking away with you. As for Nicholas, I take it you're probably doing like your poison hunting or something. So you're not really focused on them. Well, geez, Angra. He's very easy to, you know, guess what he's doing. Yes. As... You know what? I will give you one good scene, because Magnolia, you are sort of just you do a sweep over all your friends, right? Because you don't want them to get lost. Aww, isn't that sweet? I'd ask what it's made of, but I'm guessing it's candy. You can't eat it, but it's nice to have. Alright. You... Not only can you see him beginning to stray away, but you do sense the magic of what is happening with him. And I will ask if there's anything you wish to do before something happens. You can speak, yes. I'll say for comedy's sake, yes, but it isn't helping much. What are you doing? And you just rip part of the tree off with it. Just... A little bit. Yeah, it's a loud enough noise. You just tore like a chunk out of it enough to leave sap dripping. And I will say what you see, Bliss, in just a moment, but what do you do, dearest? Do you go in after him, or do you try to stop this, or... Because that entirely might change something that happens next. So, do you decide to stay with the party or go in after him, in that case? Yes. Good question. I didn't think about that. I would say that no. Apparently what this is doing is... I'll allow you to make an Arcana check before this happens. Okay, in that case, I will ask. Are you following in after him, or are you staying with the party? Alrighty. That is very surprising. I take it it's like one of the little earring things with like the little baubles. You just pull one off, pass it to them, book it after them. And I'll say that the way it feels, here's how I would describe it. You pass off the bracelet, go in after him, you're running, you're almost to him. And then I'll have you make a wisdom saving throw, Magnolia. (15). So you do figure out kind of what's happening as you both slightly tumble off what seems to be a mountain's edge. You tumble down and down. It doesn't hurt you, thankfully. I think both of you are hardy enough you could last a good roll down a hill. But for the other ones of you, especially you, Callis, I take it you would probably go to see what's going on rather quickly because, you know, Magnolia is a good friend of yours. You're rushing up, you're trying to see, and as they tumble off and you look down, they're gone. Ooh. That's not good. Did you try it? I'll say for acrobatics you could. You can make me an acrobatics check to see if you make it. And cast that well. Only a 16. This is fitting then. As you're tumbling down Magnolia and you're about to grab it, you're stopped suddenly as you're about to fall. I'd say it gets like back of the dress. And you're just sort of hanging there as you see Angriff tumble down and then gone. Disappears before your very eyes. But you, Magnolia, you're still here. Good. You can sense that I'll say that with that wisdom save, you literally saw that his entire body just sort of, he stopped being there, but the leaves sort of splashed around, almost as if he went through sort of a fey portal of some kind. You get the sense he is all around you, but he's not here with you physically at the moment. So he's not dead. That's good. He's not dead. Possibly. Maybe. You're not sure. I'm sorry, this was technically a canon moment. You did. That's why you're at least a little bit sentient to what's going on around you. It wasn't just an instant thing. But then again, Fae are a little bit more powerful than you might anticipate. Indeed. And as you're both sort of looking off into the distance, I will actually move to you, Angriff. make it down into the river bank, so you're not drowning. That's good. But it's as you're starting to get up and sort of glance around and into the water, I'll ask you a question. What did you look like in life? Yeah. A little bit of stubble, because you've been traveling. Yeah. Excuse me. Something went down the wrong tube. But yes. That is what you see before you in your reflection. As you begin to stand up, and your mind is a little a-tumble. After all, you just went down that hill. You can remember some things a little bit better now, but other things perhaps, excuse me, a little different. Furthermore, you remember something a little bit differently. Sorry. Okay. You aren't angry, at least not right now. You're excuse me. And that's what fuck's sake, stop interrupting me, cough. I'm dying. Yeah, I'll have some water. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. And it's as you're beginning to remember things properly, you hear somebody call out for you. Griffith! By God, man. You gotta stop taking those heavy falls. As what seems to be a dwarven cleric begins to walk up to you. You could just go down the long way. It only takes a slight amount longer. You don't have to just go willy-nilly through the forest. That's what I keep telling you, lad. Besides, we need you on your best look if we're going to meet the Green Knight today. And it's as you look around that you see you're in the same forest, but a different time. It is currently autumn. The trees are this orange overall, with some red and some a little bit more yellowish, and some splotches of green still for those who stubbornly refuse to turn. And it seems that there are four beside you. Well, not beside you at the moment. They're a little bit more ahead of you, looking a little concerned at you having such a fall. The dwarf, of course, is the one beside you. He looks to be definitely a little bit older, but he's wearing a bit less armor than you are. It seems, honestly, that a lot of it is more churchly or vestments, I should say. As for the other three, excuse me, there are two women, one of which seems to be a human in clothes that remind... Fuck's sake. Hold on. I'm sorry, I'm dying live on session. I am. I'm drinking a lot of water, but every time I choke on something, it always sounds like I'm being stabbed. The human looks a lot like a woman you remember, but you're not sure from where. As it appears that her hair is a little different than the one you remember. It's sort of shorter, possibly tied back behind her head. And she seems to wear darker clothing, although a reddish-orange cloak provides at least some sort of camouflage. She is an elf. Presumably one of the deep elves, considering her more pale skin. There's a halfling, and you can see that she's got... She also reminds you of somebody that you swear you know. What is going on? You're a little muddled right now. As she's got tan skin, perhaps well tied up hair, and a bit of a big smile like someone. Though her clothes are a lot more bright and blue. As you see that it is rather, she carries a bit of a harp by her side. Oh. Let me pan down so that the camera can see. I would have remembered it, but sadly I died a little bit. There we go. Isn't she nice? And finally, the one that is approaching you. He also seems to be of elven descent, judging by the pointed ears, but his hair is sort of a lighter blue, almost as if he's carrying a bit of a winter that is yet to come. He's got more modest clothes, although clearly looking at them, they're a little bit more well made. And he wears a mask, it seems. As he approaches, he sort of looks down to you and just goes, "What are we going to do with you? Every time that there's something professional, you keep going wild and... Well, I presume when we get there, you'll look like an absolute ape." Of course, that's not as much of a betrayal of your character as it should be. And he goes to reach out a hand to you. Just... He's not as strong as you, so it's a little bit... There, you're up. And with that, the dwarf, who you actually kind of remember his name, it's Hjaldaim. Alright, we should be there at approximately, I want to say, sunset? Is sunset good for you, Zheng? The masked one sort of nods. Yes, I believe that's the ideal moment when the setting sun meets up this great forest. I believe that we should then talk about the fight with the tyrant. Straight to business, then. Well, this forest is so nice, you'd want to defend it. But then again, perhaps more noble small talk would be ideal. It's politeness. It's still small talk. I don't know. yes, that's all the ways east, right in the middle, says the bard as she just sort of strums her harp with a bit of a wild grin. But finally, the last one sort of speaks up. Can we get going already? The further we go, the more mud will be on my boots, she says. She sort of takes a dagger to pick it off. Right, we should get going. Come on. And with that, they begin to move along. Do you follow as well? Oh, something is very off. The place where you rolled down is unchallenged. There's a log there that definitely would have been crushed under your weight just by the movement. It is. You remember a little bit. You know that the ranger Lilith, or not the ranger, the rogue Lilith, and the bard Rhiannon look like somebody that you know, but it feels like there's a mental block there. Something is off. Sure, you can. You cast Identify. And you see something that's a little strange. You are not entirely in your present body. It's just the soul. Indeed. You are indeed, but you don't know what kind of spell that is. Ominous. And I'll say that the first thing that they are moving, and you know, they cross a bridge over towards a place with a bit more path, and you realize there is a path under you. It's a bit more dirt path, but it's sort of the kind of place that the animals had long since traveled. And so I ask, do you follow? Interesting. And thus you cross over the first bridge. And so we cut back to the party. How well are you taking the fact that Angriff just disappeared? You've been tossing a rock or two, and no, it doesn't affect it. Is it only people-based, or did somebody want him? Oh. Alrighty. That's actually quite an interesting thing. I'm gonna roll for luck. Because I didn't think about this. Also, I'm going to reveal back the area and move back up to the forest. Man, it would have been a lot more dramatic if I wasn't coughing my lungs out. Roll 1d20. Okay, you're trying to do that, and I could say that you try and send them through, and it does seem like something disappears down that path. As I'd say the others have sort of moved around you to just go, so I'll say that it's Percy who's going. Oh, I should have mentioned it. I should have mentioned it. Don't go off the path, of course. Why did I? Oh, fuck. Shit. What did? I'm a little okay, but why would somebody want him though? Because like, it's his deal. He's just a random murder monster dude. Either way, I don't know. I don't feel like going in there is the best idea. A little bit, yes. And I'll say, if you're sort of lingering in this area long enough, you hear that singing again. In the distance. And it's with that I'd say that perhaps Kilmater just sort of goes, okay, so what do you do? Do you think he's gonna be alright by himself? Sort of way, yeah, but I don't know. What do you think? This doesn't feel like something I could just attack. Any thoughts, Close? Yeah, he's a big, strong man. I bet he could handle himself. And I'd say that it's that she goes, okay. I think we should then move forward and try and maybe figure out what happened to him. And it's with that you hear a new voice. Ah, but isn't that typical of all of his kind? Just stumbling off without anybody's need. Doesn't give a chair what everyone wants. It's actually coming. Well, I'm gonna roll something right quick. Okay, monsters. Oh wait, no, it would be in NPCs. That's right. Man, the lag is fucking real. Holy shit. Okay, that's a +3. It's kind of hard to ignore someone when they're that large. Especially on horseback, although it did seem they came up to you rather surprisingly stealthy. In fact, if you weren't such a good rogue, you probably wouldn't have noticed him until he spoke. But no, there is a man on a horse just behind you. You don't know how the horse made it this far, and you're not even sure how the guy managed to stay hidden for so long. In fact, he's wearing plate armor. At least you presume it's a he, right? He is, well, he does not seem to be a centaur. He is a man on a horse. Plate armor, sort of a verdant green cloak on his back, and 2 large antlers affixed to the helmet that does not betray any sort of face. Well, Honestly, there were a lot like him. Tale as old as time. But I must say, hello, greetings, and welcome. Also salutations in certain countries. I prefer the candy of the forest, that is to say, when the honeysuckle blooms, and perhaps when... Actually, I'm not even sure. What kind of candy is that? I take it you probably can't make sour heads or something. Interesting. Do they sprout? Oh, of course, where are my manners? I am called the Stag Knight. Can I get your names? Over to Kirsty, and Kirsty's a little bit surprised she just said that out loud. It's like, but yeah, you can call us, the second one, says Kilter. So where was the first? Not anymore, there isn't. What about you two? Allow me to introduce myself. And he gets his mouth just shut by Garvin. He's like, Kirsty? Oh, right. I am, you may call me, Princess, and those two are Thing 1, Thing 2. Very strange titles, but I will acknowledge them. And what have you two? That is a question indeed. Also, to reveal this character, I have to scroll up a little bit more, because for some reason the camera's fucked on this thing. Oh, my condolences. Oh, and the name is quite sweet, I would say. She, they, hard to tell. The voice seems to shift with every sentence he says, although it keeps quite as deep. Shifts off of the horse, gently gives it a pat, and it begins to stroll away and just goes, "So, what brings you to this unkempt kingdom?" There was another path, but it was the long one, if you remember correctly. You're making your way to that path. Oh, well, goodness, no wonder you're here. You must be lost. I assure you, I have traveled these forests, well, ever since I was born. Perhaps I can assist you upon your way. And it is as Christy just goes, but we're also looking for our friend, the I believe you're talking about, well, if we're using your terms, the wandering executioner. I mean, he uses an axe, so maybe that's a good term for him. I've known him for a while, don't worry. And as for where he might be off to, I suppose it's settling his own problems. Gods know he's got a lot of them. A walking contradiction. Kirsty just looks to the two of you like, what? Does this guy have a hand in his disappearance? But doesn't say anything. Oh, well, if I was to say too much, I'd show my hand, but I assure you, I've known him ever since he stumbled into his lands, the first time and the second. I could explain more while we walk, if you wish. After all, what's talk but idle game if there's nothing juicy or no tea to brew? Of course. And I shall guide you to that path, as is a knight's honor. As they sort of bow with one hand, but also sort of take up their long tabard with the other hand, almost to mimic a bit of a curtsy just as well. But nonetheless, the path, yes. You aim to get to the crossroads, to get to that gulch. Very well. I know a path. And so I will ask, do you follow him or do you let him follow? It was a little difficult to tell because there was a lot of places where it was just overgrown, but you do know that the path goes north until it hits the main roads. Well, in order to follow Angriff, yes. Kirsty is nervous. The twins are confused but find him sort of charming. The dwarf is... This is better than the mountains, but still sus about the dude. The giant has no strong feelings one way or another. And, oh yeah, the wolf. The wolf is here. He's just sort of like... I can help as much as I can, although I don't think I can race you there. I forget what we tried to name the wolf. Was it like Ted or something? Theo, that was what you suggested. Okay, monsters. Okay, what is his survival? I imagine it's not the worst. It's a +1. Kind of surprising that a wolf doesn't have good survival, but that's fine. So you're going to try and find your way on... Oh, yep. Kirsty has a pretty decent wisdom because she has a druid's stat block. Let me roll something. Or not roll something. Let me check. What is hers? She has a +2. She does not have proficiency in survival, but, you know. They're just, like, one is like, I don't trust him one bit. Last time we had somebody nice try and help us. Well, you saw what happened with the weird jester man. Yeah, but he didn't try and help us. This one, well, he offered his services. And you think that'll do good? Well, he gave his knight chivalry on it. Yeah, he'll roll a wisdom save to help. Or actually, no, it'll be Christine who helps. Because she has the +2. She just sort of... Okay. She just sort of says, I say we let him follow for now, but the first time he tries and draws his sword, we're running. Yeah. A little bit, yes. Although it is going to be a bit of a long roundabout loop in order to get back onto it. And you remember what Angriff said about loops. He is indeed heading off in the direction you were on. Although it doesn't seem he's using his horse right now. Then And if he just goes off the path, then bye, I guess. Indeed. And, alright then. In that case, you begin to make your way back to the path, leaving behind where you last saw your friend, and yet, is he near? I don't know. Are you? I don't think you're that near Angriff. I'd say that you are traveling through forests, the switchbacking river, narrowly dodged. It seems that perhaps some of the party members here have at least some experience with the Fae. Of course, the problem about that is that the four of them are debating alongside you. Alright, so let's get the elephant out of the ballroom. Can we trust this Lord of the Forest figure? Like on a religious standpoint, or just in general? Because every time I've tried and trusted someone who's claimed they're a lord of something or another, they've always, well, been found lacking, darling. Well, let's see. We got enough black iron to choke a horse, so that's good. As for everything else, I don't know. I think that the best thing we can do is hope that they respect us as much as we respect them, and, you know, treat this like a ballroom, like you mentioned. Should we ask Zenyiba? Because I'm an elf? Well, you're more of their kind than I am. What do you think, Griffith? And I'll ask, how have you been following? How have you been sticking around? What have you been doing? Indeed. I can understand why. You've sort of listened to them, and they don't seem like they're evilly leading you on to some doom or something. In fact, you trust them a little more than that. Wait, why do you trust them? You never met them. Although you have. But, hard to tell. Mainly, your eyes have just been sort of focusing on something. A black crow in the sky sort of circling overhead a little bit. But you have been asked a question. What are your opinions on the Fae? Indeed. That was what your... Indeed. After all, that was what your father warned you of before you left. And, well, you know that they have to do with Zhang Yi. After all, he is Eldrin. But perhaps he isn't exactly as tied to them as you would see. After all, the human generalizations on the northern elves are a little bit generalist. You remember, surprisingly, a funny anecdote where you accidentally considered that perhaps Lilith's people and Zhang Yi's were perhaps in cahoots, but then again, apparently their sides hate each other just about as much as, well, as much as the humans hate the goblins, or the dwarves hate the orcs. And upon that, I believe we can agree, Griffith. It's always been... It's as if we are looking at them, as if... Well, as if a man looks at an ape. They are to be treated with respect, don't get me wrong. But we have strayed a bit from there. olden path. But of course, considering your type, you always considered me a fae, didn't you? That's actually a little bit surprising. This Eldrin is treating you pretty friendly. But after all, he might be your friend, isn't he? Up to you. Nonetheless, the sun is sort of setting. And yet again, you're at a different part. And yet, the way you're following, you barely even notice it until you feel the wood floor underneath. You do stop a little bit. But do you follow them across the second bridge? What do you wish to try? You do you? It's not too far. It's only about, I'd say it's 20. It's a 20-foot patch of river, so it's large but not too large. Indeed, as you can sense the strangities of what's going on. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And it's as you sort of cast it underhandedly that there's that dramatic poof and you teleport. So you only took, well, 1.5 bridges. It doesn't count, right? Hopefully it doesn't count. And there's a bit of surprise as Ryan just goes, there you go. Now you're getting the spirit. Well, Lilith sort of rolls her eyes and Hjeldheim just goes, yes, we get it. You're a show-off with the magic now that you learned it. But I'd say we should at least keep 1 or 2 slots whenever we see them. And it's as they begin to move across and into the final bits of the forest as you've traveled along the marshland for some time now. Zheng Yi does say, well, can you blame him? He is a prince after all. And do you follow them? I mean, you could just go off into the forest and hit an invisible wall, but nah. Yeah. But either way, you follow. And there's that damn crow still traveling overhead. We cut back to the party. Yippee. As... Oh, I have to scroll up. Oops. Okay. It's interesting. As you're sort of moving along, there's actually a little bit of a start from the night. Interesting. Just sort of checks his hand, which beneath the armor there's a little bit of blood. You do notice that he sort of touches the little bit of the wrist and looks at the finger and goes, well, I'll be. He's smarter than he looks. You do slightly hear that under your breath, but he does actually speak up as he travels along. So, I do hope that this forest isn't the worst part of your travels so far. After all, considering the way you look and the way that some of you smell, seems you've traveled a long way. Oh, well, that's very good to hear. In fact, I'm a little bit honored as one who takes care of these woods from time to time. I bet. Although, considering, I don't think he's that injured. Ever since I've known him, I know pain hasn't slowed him down a bit. But then again, perhaps as a dealer of pain, you have a bit better of a tell of that, wouldn't you? Oh yes, you would, wouldn't you? After all, you seem to be a dealer in death, not in pain. Indeed you have. And yet it seems that perhaps something weighing you down could also make you miss, wouldn't you say? Well, several things come to mind, but the one that you're thinking of perhaps isn't the most. After all, oh, well, there's that, perhaps. There's also perhaps some eyes that watch over you and manipulate or give you ideas. Not the best ideas, I'd mention. But then perhaps there's a third thing. Ambition is a bit intoxicating, I warn. As someone who fell prey to it. Oh, yes, and yet I applaud you for that. And yet, sometimes I see folks like you. And perhaps the ones that hold you up high push you towards more dangerous paths. I mean, if you went more down the same paths as your friend, perhaps you wouldn't like what you'd see. So, forgive me, Miss Widow. I do have a question for thee. And don't worry, there's nothing you haven't seen before under this helm. Why do you go down those paths? The thing that you do it in spite of pushes you down more dangerous paths. Why do you go yet still? Then down those paths you must go. Very well. As for you, Miss Flower, was it? Dearie, you, well, forgive me if I'm misassuming, but I've heard that a great band of adventurers has been traveling through these borderlands. And from what I've heard, though perhaps a knife may cut and a spear may split a man's heart in twain, perhaps the power of a witch or two could give some serious advantages, would you not say? Why, of course. Why, of course. Although, I do wonder, what if someone takes advantage of that? Perhaps because of one's look, or perhaps one's demeanor. What if they don't take you seriously? Why, of course. Forgive me, I may have shown my hand a bit too much. And it is as you are traveling with him that you start to hear something strange. But as you're beginning to hear something strange, perhaps react to it, we shall switch back to our last player, the one who's a bit lost, whether down memory lane or something, perhaps other things. You have traveled with your party all day. The sun is starting to set, and you hear the last few cicadas that haven't died from the cold beginning to whir up in their last melody. The dwarf, of course, old and weary as he is, basically sat down and fell asleep like a stone at the campfire. Lilith's busy doing whatever she does. You were never sure, and you never probably will be. And while you wish Rhiannon, well, what would your opinion be on Rhiannon's music? You heard it. It's fine. It's 5 out of 10. She pretends like it's 10 out of 10. Everybody else pretends it's 0. It's fine. And it's with... But she's not busy with that. She's busy cooking a very large soup in the distance. As it appears that you are sitting with a man you feel you've known for longer than the rest of them, even though perhaps today you've only just met him. The masked elf, Zhang Yi. And he sort of looks to you and just, for a moment, I am not allowed to let this mask slip, of course. But perhaps I could speak in more honest words with you, Griffith. I've been through this forest several times, whether in truth or in dream. It's confusing, and I believe you know just about as much. I've tried talking with him, you know. The Stag Knight, the lord of the Forgotten Wode. And I've asked him for reason. Of course, this was before the tyrant really outstretched his hand. And even though I asked for help, I asked for my kingdom to be given respite here in the middle of this wartime. He refused. They are my kind, as much as I am loath to admit it. Many of them are elf. And yet, they hinder our progress. Maybe it'll change this time, but I'm not sure. Our goals are just. Why don't they just simply let us pass? They're elves. You know that every time that they say something, there's perhaps a plan that has been 1,000 years in the making, or perhaps it is just simple squabbles that they refuse to mention. What if my kind dies because of them? Will I have to pay some sort of revenge? What do I do here, Griffith? He sort of looks up, and you can tell as he just sort of removes his mask for just a second. You see that he is a very beautiful man, or a very beautiful elf man, with high cheekbones and eyes that sort of glitter with the night stars. And he gives a bit of a smile at that and just goes, "Of course you'd say that. It's reassuring, but it's not very specific of you." But thank you, nonetheless, Griffith. I'll go up to the place beyond the island, and I'll have a bit of a smoke. You're free to join me if you wish. As he stands and he crosses the third bridge. You could consider it. You could follow him. After all, you've gone this far. What's the worst that you could lose? Indeed they are. It seems that in this memory, he was the closest one to you, and he's just off to consider. Alrighty then. I'll say as you're beginning to just stand up and perhaps get a little bit of a breath in, you feel something fall upon your side. Taloned feet. Angriff, what the fuck is going on? They do not. Indeed. And it's interesting. As you walk behind a tree and start to consider talking to them, you hear a weird noise. Same weird noise that your friends heard. The sound of slight whinnying and shouting off in the distance, as perhaps you hear the striking of wood. And then perhaps even further, the distant sound of groans. Oh boy, indeed. And I will say that the both of you, at the same time, hear it, and perhaps in the distance begin to see something, both parties. You see that there is a movement in mass, and a couple of trees beginning to fall for both sides of you, which is weird because out of time and all that. And so I ask, will the party investigate? They do not notice. All right. I'll say that for the other party, as you're sort of hearing this voice, the Green Knight sort of looks at that direction. His head snaps to it suddenly and just goes, "Oh. I wish we had more time, ladies, but I'm afraid that perhaps some events are happening that I wish would happen a bit later. If you wish to follow to the path, you just need to go towards the left. Although, if you do wish to stay, I am having a nice banquet. That is, if this doesn't ruin it. Good day to you." And with that, he moves, he takes a sharp right into the forest. And yet you still hear that noise. The slight shouting, the cracking of wood, and those moans again. This feels weird. Well, honestly, I was enjoying his company. I wish we could spend more time with him. He does that, so you stay with him forever. That's the entire point of the Fae. I mean, we could just go, or we check out... Oh, I am betting that's undead. Well, that shout turns into a scream, so ultimately you have to make your choice. Do you try and follow him? Or do you go along your path? It is a scream for help. You've never heard Angler scream now that you mention it. But no, it does seem to be a scream for help, although it is in a language that you don't exactly understand. Sylvan, it seems. Indeed. But no, so you guys are just trying to approach this really quickly, right? Or are you just moving on? I don't know. I will say that she's just going. I'll say that honestly. What is her fucking name? Kirsty's kind of just like. Okay, so it's probably just something normal. We could just move on. We could get out of here. But that's a scream. That is a scream of help. We should probably, try it up. Okay, but think about it. What scares a fae? Huh? Oh, neat. Yeah, that is absolutely like, back you devil! No! Someone get this tree off me! Indeed, but it's like, no, no, no! But they're speaking Sylvan. Possibly. I do have a fire spell, I guess, if we're doing this. It, I'm just gonna say, for fun reasons, what happens. So you're approaching it pretty fast, wouldn't you say, Angriff? It's sort of very comedic, as well. You are noticing that you're looking back to your old self. It seems as you're power walking, almost sort of running, grabbing your weapon, and it's as you're doing that you just directly go across the path in front of them. Yep. And just Kirsty's just looking back and forth, very surprised, as the twins as Garvey just goes, "Oh look, Angriff, yeah, we should probably," just starts going after Magdalene. Just utter Spaceballs behavior. Free fight, indeed. And considering the fight, I'm going to reveal it to you, but I will leave it up to you if you wish to continue through it or you wish to just leave it here for now. As you make your way to it, it does appear that there is a broken tree along this foot-trodden forest path. However, the one under it, interestingly enough, is it his horse underneath it, or is it a man? Oh, it's both. Oh, it's both. That's a centaur. And as you look up, Angriff, you see that approaching rather rapidly. Well, not rapidly. The two that move the slowest are by far the largest. One of which seems to be a giant body that seems to have been carved over with spell runes that apparently has an open rib cage, like the ribs sort of splayed back to reveal like teeth, and a gaping open belly that seems to have a mouth in it. Alongside is a large, almost a charnel pit's worth of bodies. That seems to be loosely clinging to one another as they're just sort of piling closer and closer to the body, and alongside a couple of sneering, like those bog bodies from Bellows Bog, interestingly enough. You are coming from the left, so over here, I'd say. Oh, I do need to do something right quick because I realized I hadn't done it right yet. I'm sorry. And as you see these horrific creatures that seem almost kind of anathema to the forest, I will ask, what do you do? Do you wish to enter this combat, or do you wish to just let it happen? Centaur Man is stuck. He is stuck under a tree. And let me just put on a little... yeah, this'll do. Yes. He is currently restrained, and he is asking for help. As you begin to approach, the bird on your shoulder just like... Okay, should we deal with the stuff that happened back there, or should we deal with the stuff that happened back here? Well, actually, that actually raises a question. Does Jasper speak common to anybody but Magnolia? Oh, in that case, you understand it, yeah. So it's like, so do we deal with what happened back there, or do we deal with this? Got it. Okay. Okay. It flies up as you hear him whisper, how do I do that? Alright, and I will say that that is initiative. You do you? Hopefully. What is your plan? I did not think about that. I think that would require an Arcana check. Okay. I mean, if it works. Okay. Yeah, that's a good initiative for that shit. Oh, hold on. Why is the ghoul? Ghoul, give me initiative. Thank you. And Centaur also gets initiative. Alrighty, and going from descending order is you, Wangriff. Soldier boy, tell them. I'll say that they will be here in... I'll say that this is a surprise round. So, after you do this, you know. Good question. Yep. Grab the log. Okay. You got to make that Arcana check. Okay. Yep, the zombie clot and the devourer. Okay. Let's just do... Sure, that is a... okay, let me just roll a save for the devourer now, because I got the zombie clot. Submit. I will say that after this turn, you will show up. Okay, so you are now trying to teleport this tree, which, by the way, one of them failed, but one of them succeeded. Yep, so the zombie clot takes... Hold on, let me look at their stats. For some reason, I forgot to. But yeah, they have... Okay. So that guy takes some solid damage. That guy takes 8 damage. Alright. Yep, that's an Arcana check to try and teleport the tree with you. 15, I'll allow it. Yep. Okay. That is going to be an athletics check for you. I will say that Jasper is giving you help. As he grabs onto the back of your scruff and just flapping wildly to keep you airborne for a second. I will say that you do have to make a dex save right quick because you are in the air. Yeah, I'll say you land on the tree. That's fine. Okay, so that is going to be, I'll say that's a dex save from them both. And they take 46 damage, which is roll 46. Fuck. 14 damage, so 7 if they succeed. And I'll say that it's DC 10. Well, actually, no, I'll say it is a DC 15 because of your thing. Okay. Devourer takes 7 and saves. God, I hate roll 20 sometimes. It's so slow. Okay. So you did actually manage to knock down a solid amount of the zombies, so that's good. So that is -7 for Big Boy and minus... Why is it not showing the health? Show the health, you pussy. Okay, there we go. Okay. That's good. And it says one of them failed. The massive pile of zombies. I'll say that the Devourer doesn't, but the zombies are, but they will, considering their mass, it will just take an action or one of their attacks to push off the tree. Indeed you are. It is an interesting sight that the two of you, Callis and Magnolia, come to as you are running. And is he in a tree? Why is there a centaur with no tree on him? Wait, what the fuck are those? By the way, you also start over here and can roll initiative. Yes. But you're the fastest out of all of them. Oh no! Okay. In that case, yep. It is now the ghoul's turn. Yeah, you're 10 feet up in the air. So that's a problem for next round, you. The ghouls are just going to they look, they're like, huh? Who? And there's a very big tree that is now crushing some of the zombies as they're just like, yeah, for the Oxum, and then begin to run around so that they can at least try to. Yeah, they're smart enough they won't get to you. They're not going to try and crawl up to get you. That's the big boys' jobs. Yeah, I think the centaur's good enough to eat. Indeed. So they don't have advantage. And they have to kind of move around a little quickly. So one of them manages to make it, but the rest of them, yeah, no, it's going to take a little while. And this guy is just running straight through him. So that is one. Well, actually, no, they're all going to dash because they're not. While they are sentient, they're not particularly smart. Also, they do not provoke opportunity attacks from you, Angriff, I regret to say. 5, 10, 15. And... oh, yeah. So one of them does provoke an opportunity attack if you wish to take it. Yes. Rats. So one of them is going to closet. Why are they all invisible? Hold on. I have to do the goddamn thing. Hold on. Because for some reason they put it as naturally they're not supposed to be seen. But they are. Okay. So it's going to be public normal. Come on, you son of a bitch. Okay, that's one claws attack. Does it hit him? I'll go with the old one, because the old one was a 22. It only deals 6 slashing damage to him. But he's got to make a con save, or he is paralyzed. I don't think he will. That's +2. It's not awful. 17, he passes. I also have to now put him on public. Why are none of these guys on public? What am I doing? Okay. Okay, so the rest of them are going to try and bite him because they thought the claws would work, and they're... unfortunately... yeah, so only one of them got to try and paralyze him. Okay, Centaur's turn. Oh, this is not a good spot for him. He does not like being here. Could he try and do something? He might waste his turn disengaging and moving away. So he's going to disengage, and he's going to use his, his casual walking speed of 50 feet to get the fuck away from there. And he's going to pull his longbow, preparing to at least provide some covering fire. No, I don't want to use the new 5e 2024 character sheet and builder. Fuck off. Hey, Calith. That would have been evil. I know, but do centaurs... I guess that the centaurs are technically... I'm gonna roll. He is a dude. You can tell because his tits aren't flopping everywhere. Dang it. Do you think he would think about something like that at a time like this, though? Nah. But hey, Caliss, that's a lot of undead. They're more focused on stuff. If you roll a stealth check, you could be hidden. Just a casual 26. Yeah, they don't see you. Just give him the stabby wabbies. Yeah. They're definitely undead, so they're immune to that. So you're gonna deal yourself that damage. Ow. But you now can fuck these guys over. Considering now they're only resistant to poison damage. And you ignore that. Yep. Use that fang. Use that fang. Also, just to check, the stream's going right? 21 does hit them. They are not wearing any clothes. Alrighty. So they gotta make a con save? As in it. Nets. Yeah. Okay. So probably a dropable amount of damage. I'll say that it's I'll say it's a D8 for purposes. That is enough to drop him. Yeah, you just run quickly and then stab up, cutting the ribs, and then under the chin, and that's one of them down. Oh god, they smell terrible. Yes. Alrighty. The Devourer is very hungry. Let's see what he can do. He wants to eat. He wants to munch. Okay. He is going to try... You know what? He unfortunately cannot reach the top of that place. But he has multi-attack, so he's going to use one of those attacks to try and rend down the tree that you are on. So that's one claw. That is a 16, which is enough. That is 8 slashing and 27 necrotic. You could feel the tree wither out from around you. The twigs snapping as you're barely able. Maybe a dex save, by the way. 12 is enough. You sort of slide down as it becomes the wood chips, then the mulch, and then just disappears. As it looks down to you, and with its second attack, it can't imprison your soul. Does it does it? It does, because it's big. And that is an 11. It just whiffs overhead as it's looking at you and it's giggling like a toddler. It's weird. Also, it's still, god dang it, hold on. I am turning it public and I am turning it normal. Okay. As for the zombie clot, it begins to slowly rise, as one of its attacks will be to destroy the stuff. So that's 2 slam attacks. 1, 16, dealing 24 bludgeoning. Like 2 of the it like lifts, and it's almost like a hand that lifts to swat the tree as it snaps in half. As it begins to look over, as the ghouls are like, that one, destroy that one! As it just 15, 20, 25, 30. It can't get to them, so fuck it. You know what? You are enough of a threat, it could try and stop this. It has 2 attacks. No, I used one of them. It's okay. You'll know soon enough. Oh, I know, I can only use one of them. So that's another slam attack to you. And that is... oh, you lucky bastard. Another 11. Amazing. Alright. So now it is Mag's turn. Oh yeah, baby. Keep on rolling. You know what time it is. Who are you casting it on? I'll say that the zombie clot is... the one problem is that the zombie clot is technically a swarm. So... wait, is a swarm affected by AoEs? Oh my god. Okay. Alright. So that is a wisdom save from everybody there. Except for you, Angriff. 14. Oh my god. DC 17? What the shit? That's so big. How do you... oh my god. No wonder. You fuck... how many ghouls will make it? Oh. The Devourer is a fucking clutch choice, because they technically have 2 attacks, and they can replace one with either Soul Imprison or Soul Rend. Both of which don't sound good. Okay, come on. Yes! Did I? No, I... oh, the zombie clot. Okay. Yeah, either way, it still fails, so that doesn't matter. Damn, failed twice. Just the woo, woo, woo. Damn. It is. Why is diagonal larger? That's bullshit. Okay, so they're all slowed. And it's also... well, it's no longer restrained. One moment. Let me just drop the restrain. Let me drop the restraining order. Okay, so let's just... I warn you, the Devourer's pretty damn strong. I don't know if that's a good idea, because it'll probably bite you down. Alright. And I'm going to roll something from somebody to see if they make it on time. Okay, this is the one thing that determines if it'll take them 2 rounds or 1 round to show up. It'll take them 2 rounds. You can survive 2 rounds, right? Yeah. Anyways, hey, Angriff. Damn, you're stuck right next to a fucking problem. It is, yes. Nice, nice, very nice to see you, John. Ooh, without provoking an opportunity attack. Yes. Yes. Oh yeah, because they're slowed. Alrighty. You just... Yep. Yes. 18, I believe that hits him. He's not very armored. Yeah, it does hit him. Wait a second, is he immune to frightened? No, he's not. So he's got to make a wisdom save. Okay. Yep. He is frightened. And a con save? Oh, dang it. Hold on. Saves. Con. Submit. Nice. 37 damage. Oh, 20. Well, that is a bitch move. The big boyo. 23 does hit it. Ow. So that is 21. Wait, hold on. I have to actually check something. Is it? I swore that an undead was resistant to fright, wasn't it? Son of a bitch, it isn't. It's only It's only immune to poisoned. Yeah. Yes. I'm moving this. Okay. Alrighty. In that case, the ghouls are going to squabble amongst themselves. And let's see. Can one move over there? Yes. So that's one. And this one. This one moves here. And then the other steps over its brethren to try and flank. Well, they can't flank, but you know. Actually, no, this one can. But you're on duh. And then 5, 10. That was normal movement because they're the one that is slowed. So, yeah. And he's just bum rushing to try and get a... Okay. $25 does hit him. 16, okay. And that is going to be a claws attack against Magnolia. Well, no, it's not, period. But as for this guy, that is 16. Yes. Ow. Almost killed him. Just from opportunity attack. Also, the 11 just doesn't hit you, period, right? He's just like... just leaps and you just sidestep because it's fucking telegraphed from a mile away. He's not particularly subtle. So these two ghouls are... One is going to try and claws her, and the other is going to try and bite her. That is a 22 to hit you, oh great Kliss. Ow. It's 5 damage. If they were, they ain't anymore. That's a con save for you. Nope. Bad news, you're paralyzed. And the other one has advantage on you. Still, they're just... Oh, man, they're both swarming you. This is icky. You don't like this. And because, you know what? Just seeing that you don't like that. Well, the centaur knows who it's going to shoot. For its one attack. It's going to shoot the weaker one. Ow. Good news, that's one ghoul down. Bad news, you're still paralyzed. Do we wish to go to combat's end or just till the end of the round? Yeah, that sounds about fair. Alright, so the ghouls and the centaurs have moved. Hey, Callis, you gotta make that save. Again. Again. Nope. Man, we found Callis's weakness. Hey, Devourer. Man. The only problem for the Devourer is it can't get... He has to move around Angriff. 5, 10, 15, take the dash, 20, 25, 30. They'll get there eventually. The zombie clot, meanwhile, just... Oh yeah, they have to make the save at the end of their turns to no longer be... Yeah, so they just drop it at the end of that. Oh yeah, they also have to make a save against the slowed. They do. Okay, so that's a wisdom's... No, that was from the other ghoul. Because there were 2 ghouls. No, it was... Oh, no, it was that was at advantage. And it only rolled once, so I rolled twice. So bad news, the Devourers... No, wait, no, it is still slowed. Because DC 7... The Devourer was trying. The ghoul fails. Man, it's almost as if the slow thing is really useful against undead. Damn. Well, the zombie clot is going to crawl over the remains of the ghoul. The ghoul. I find it funny to say ghoul over and over again. And that is going to be... Okay, it's going to go for the damage dealer, respectfully. It'll go for Angriff. Oh, wait, no, actually... Nope, okay. It could have done Flesh and Tomb. I know, it could have done Flesh and Tomb, but it decided not to. It should have. Oh, no, wait, no, that's actually its ranged attack. Never mind. What? Why is that a ranged attack? Why is it called Never mind. I'm squabbling over 5e's game decisions. Hey, Mags. That's a ghoul. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Is it for the 2 ghouls or is it for the clot? They are pretty good at for that reason alone. Okay, where is the saves? There's the saves. That is a concept. Man, Shatter's really good. Okay, so one fails. And the other... Also, succeeds. Good on him. So that's 9 and 18. AoEs are always clutch. Okay. That does not kill them, but... Okay, so this one takes the 9. Big old chunk of his health. This one Takes the 18. He's not doing great. Hey, Ingriff. Are you trying to also cast Hex as a bonus action? Wait, no, you can't, because that's a leveled spell. Your own special trait that is called Hex. Alright. Yep. The ghoul. Ooh. Alrighty. That is cool. I am going to mute, but you can take your actions. Yeah, huh? Yeah, huh? An 18 does hit the zombie clot. Ow. Damn. Concept. I think it might be able to. Wait, it is a swarm though. It is immune to charmed, exhaustion, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, and stunned. Why is it? Oh my god! What? Yep, and let's do the con save. You rejoice too hard, and it. Let me put on +4. There you go. Still, you dealt it some pretty good damage. You did. Yes. That's fine. Yeah. Okay. And it also takes that extra 4 damage. 5, 10. Well, no, it would be this way. It's a cliff. Okay, roll that damage. That's some good damage. Oh, yeah. That is still 20. That is still 31 damage. As you smear like 5 different zombies in the skull at once. It is still standing, though. You dealt it some serious damage, though, I will say. Amazing. Ah. It's dueling time. It's going to be 1 bite attack as it goes. Oh, those lovely lips. I'd like to rip them off and eat them. No. This one. Let's see if this one actually does anything. I just picture he's already trying to bite you, but since you're made of wood, he's just gnawing. It's doing nothing. Man, these ghouls suck. Anyways, longbow attack. Yep. As he is just... He hears... He's hitting every one of his shots so far. Good on you, Centaur. Hey, Callis, you're still paralyzed, and now the... Hey, at least the body's dead. Paralyzation. Yippee! Okay. The 5, 10. Oh, yeah. No, he's aiming for somebody else. 20, 25, 30. I know, that was the dash action. Well, actually, you know what? He actually does have something that could feasibly hit her from 15 feet away. Specifically 30 feet away. As he looks down and the ghoul sort of looks up and is like, wait, no. And let me just see, do I have a 30-foot cone I could use? Yes, I do. And Magnolia just barely fits within it, as does the poor ghoul who will probably die to this. As it uses Soul Rend. Oh no, that's a 20-foot thing. Dang it. He has to move forward before he uses it. You have a round. Make it count. Ah, you bitch. You bitch. That's a wisdom save? Man, intrusive thoughts is just... It's one of Silvery Barb's made you hate it even more. Also, he has to make a second wisdom save to try and bust out from this bullshit. Nope. 5, 10, 15. He'll get to you, and he's going to break that concentration on it, but by the time that happens, it'll probably be too late, and he's going to be very mad about it. You understand how mad he'll be? Okay. Well, at least the zombie clot, it's going to die in... It is. Okay. Man, when I get a character with counterspell, it'll be over for y'all. Anyways, zombie clot. It's going to look, and the ghoul just goes, "Get her, she's the one!" Oh. The zombies grab onto each other, and then begin to lift it up, and then 30 feet. Oh. Oh, in that case, nah, I can't do that. Dang it. Well, it was nice knowing you, Angriff. He's going to die now. That would suck immensely, but it can't get past you is the problem. Also, they have the speed of 25 feet, so they can't make it that far. It's 25 halved, so it's 10 feet, basically. Yes. Hey, Mags. That would have been bad if it hit you. It's like the first time that any of them have realized that you're the problem. But unfortunately, because they're undead, none of them have range. It does, but like, that's like half the problem. The way it sounds like it's something where like all the zombies grab onto you and pull you into the mass, but no, that's not how it is. Nice. Yep, beats it. They are... These guys are very shitty. Make me an Arcana check to see if you evade the immunity. Yeah, it's a ghoul. Good news, you surpass it and hit and you hit resistance, so it takes 4. Oh man. Now I know I must send mages against thee. Anyways. Ah, yes. Hey, Angriff, that... Yes. Yeah, he does not. Alrighty. 16 does hit him. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, also. You gotta make me that con save. Because you've been beyond 10 feet most of the time. Good news, you are not poisoned and you don't take the poison damage. Bad news, as you reduce him to 0 hit points, that's a con save. This is a zombie, what do you expect? Haha. So, wait, 5 plus the damage taken. Dang it! He failed. The poor boy. The zombie falls apart, leaving a bunch of bodies. He was gonna be so cool. He was gonna get a hat and everything. Hey, that's one of them. I guess you're his target now. I don't make the rules. Yeah. The spear, yes. Yeah, that hits him. That's another wisdom save. Brilliant. I love this. Okay. Saves. Con. 9. So that's 9 plus 12 is 21. So 22. Ow. Oh, god damn it. Okay, he's at 5, 10. Just give him this one thing, man. Okay. You were pushing him, he was diagonal. I could have done it either way. We all have cones at this point. It's fine. I was, to be fair, he's fucking massive. I was trying to just push him so he was like flat this way. Okay, so he's gonna take 9 to 10 business days to get back around. Man, when this... I might... Dang it, he isn't even unslowed. Oh my god. Why do these guys roll so shit? This guy's CR13, man! Okay. The ghoul... Well, yeah! That's why you do some smart shit, but you made him fucking trivial. That's all you have to do is just... Okay. The ghoul is... He just looks at the Devourer's like, are you okay, man? The Devourer's like, shut up. Okay, the ghoul's just going to... I know. I will say that the start of the next round... Oh, yeah, it is actually the start of the next round, come to think of it. You have you have one round before the help comes. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I'll allow it. Okay. The ghoul is not smart enough to deal with this. So that's gonna be another claws attack, and because of that claws attack, he's gotta be... It's not gonna hit anyways. It's like a +4. They have been rolling like ass this whole time. Also, they can't even hit you, so they just flies to the side as the centaur just sort of looks to them and then looks to you. It's like, how often have you dealt with this in like Sylvan? I see. And that motherfucker don't miss. Another... I think that's enough to kill that ghoul. Nah, it's at 1 hit point. Yeah, because it's a centaur, dude. The guy don't miss. He also has, like... He has the exact same to hit as the ghoul. So what the fuck? Okay, hey, Callis. Good karma, I guess. Except for Callis. Callis probably has the worst karma out of all of y'all. So what you gonna do? Yeah. Well, he's at 1 hit point. Nice. That is a dead ghoul. Well, yeah, but obviously Callis is going to be faster is the thing. Bunch of... See, when you get to the armies, I do think you'll have a lot more trouble. Hard to tell. Depends. Not spoiling anything. And if they're dead, then Magnolia will be in their element. You webbed him? Is that a save at the end of turns? Okay, so the guy just plumb start of its turn. Okay. Indeed it is. So that is going to be a wisdom save, or a dex save to escape. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? He's had just about enough of this. He's a big, scary undead that don't need no goddamn bullshit. Hey, Angriff, you gotta make me a wisdom save, or a con save. You're in that radius, bud. I swear to God, if you're not, I'm going to goddamn... So you gotta make that con save, or else you take 22. No! This is a saving throw. 22, or 20 damage. Ow. It's a 10. Well, the Devourer is gonna have to make some saves every goddamn turn. He's just complaining, like, I have to make a save every fucking turn. That is a bad. Dang it! The gods heard his complaints and gave him worse shit for it. I'll say, you know what? I know how this is gonna go. So I will just simply say that what happens at this point is that as it tries to inhale you, and you do feel your robes begin to slowly, like, pull in, but it's not even damaging you that much, Angrif. 3 arrows fire from the woods. Thunk, thunk, thunk. As you see that there are a tribe of centaurs that approach, headed by a very familiar man. Unfortunately for you, you recognize this man. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, as it seems that the man who approaches to destroy this blightinous forest is technically the man who resurrected you. And it is with that, as the fight draws to a close, that we wrap up tonight's session. Thank you guys so much for coming back again, and thank you, viewers, that I am happy to see, for coming back. I know we took a long delay, but we aim to continue and go into the main battles of Bloodstone, at least the start of them. But nonetheless, thank you so much for watching, and join us next time as we get a little more of a further depth into Angrif's backstory. And finally, perhaps, the end of the road to Bloodstone. But until then, be sure to like and subscribe, and goodbye.